In the vast African savanna, where life and death coexist in a delicate balance, some stories emerge as true legends. One such story is that of the Bila Shaka coalition, a group of lions that left their mark on the heart of the Masai Mara Reserve in Kenya. More than just kings of a territory, these lions became symbols of unity, strength, and resilience in one of the most challenging ecosystems on the planet. The Masai Mara Reserve is one of Africa's natural jewels, covering an area of 1,510 square kilometers. It is home to an impressive biodiversity and serves as the stage for daily battles for survival. Its open plains, teeming with wildebeests, zebras, buffaloes, and other herbivores, are a true paradise for predators. However, life in the savanna is not easy, even for the kings of this ecosystem. Lions face constant rivalries, not only between predators and prey but also within their own species. It is in this context that male coalitions emerge, groups that band together to conquer territories, protect lionesses, and ensure their lineage. The Bila Shaka were born into this environment in 2014, the offspring of legendary kings who already ruled vast territories in Masai Mara. From a young age, they were prepared to face a world where only the strongest survive. Yet what would make the Bila Shaka unique was not just their strength or individual skills, but the partnership they developed throughout their journey. The childhood of these lions was marked by learning and observation. They watched their parents face rivals, protect their lionesses and cubs, and hunt some of the savanna's most challenging prey, such as buffaloes and wildebeests. Beyond physical strength, the young Bila Shaka witnessed the importance of unity and strategy. They realized that even in an environment where strength is essential, success often depends on teamwork and partnership. When the 6 young males reached the age of 2, it was time to leave their birth pride. This rite of passage, common among male lions, marked the beginning of a new phase in their lives. Upon leaving, they left behind the protection of their parents and the lionesses, entering a world full of dangers and uncertainties. However, unlike many young lions who faced this journey alone, the Bila Shaka had something that set them apart. They had each other. The coalition members quickly stood out for their unique characteristics, earning nicknames given by local guides. Kochok was known for his large belly, Kio for his torn ear, Chongo for his injured eye, Noah for his patience, Manera for his calm demeanor, and Babail for his courage and impulsiveness. Though different, together they formed an alliance that would prove nearly invincible. Thus, the Bila Shaka began their journey, ready to face the challenges of the savanna. United by the strength of their coalition and the heritage of their parents, they were destined to write a legendary chapter in the history of Masai Mara. When the 6 young males set out to begin their journey, the savanna presented its first challenges. Despite having learned a great deal from their parents, life without the protection of the pride required them to put all they had observed to the test. It was time to turn knowledge into practice. United, they began to explore neighboring areas, facing the dangers that every young lion encounters when trying to establish a place in the world. At first, the Bila Shaka did not yet have a territory of their own. They wandered as nomads, hunting smaller prey and avoiding direct confrontations with more experienced coalitions. But their strength lay in their partnership. Unlike lions who face solitude during this transitional period, the Bila Shaka relied on one another and formed a cohesive group. This bond would become their greatest weapon. In early 2017, the coalition encountered its first major challenge when they arrived in the swamp region, a resource-rich territory already occupied by 2 veteran lions, Caribou and Rafiki. These experienced males were established kings of the area and rigorously protected their lionesses. However, instead of immediately challenging the local leaders, the Bila Shaka opted for a different approach. For months, the young lions remained on the fringes of Caribou and Rafiki's territory, observing the behavior of the 2 males. They studied how the kings protected their lands, interacted with the lionesses, and even their patrol tactics. This patience and strategy, uncommon for young lions, demonstrated the intelligence of the coalition. They knew that a premature confrontation could be fatal and chose to wait for the right moment to act. Interestingly, even when Caribou and Rafiki's lionesses went into estrus, the Bila Shaka kept their distance. They did not attempt to court the lionesses or challenge the kings of the territory. This behavior intrigued local guides, who rarely saw such cautious young coalitions. Meanwhile, Caribou and Rafiki showed no concern about the Bila Shaka's presence. Perhaps they considered them too young and inexperienced to pose a threat. But everything changed at the end of 2017. For unknown reasons, Caribou and Rafiki abandoned the swamp territory, leaving the area without leaders. This was the opportunity the Bila Shaka had been waiting for. They quickly established themselves in the region, taking control of the lionesses and marking their first major territory. It was at this moment that the coalition began to show its full potential. With the swamp territory consolidated, the Bila Shaka faced the challenge of protecting their new conquest. Nomadic lions frequently attempted to invade the area, but they were promptly confronted and defeated by the coalition. These battles were crucial in strengthening the bond between the 6 males and honing their fighting skills. They were not just strong individuals. They were a strategic team that knew how to work together. In early 2018, the Bila Shaka took an even bigger step. In just 2 months, they conquered not 1, but 3 new prides. They expanded their territory to the triangular region of Masai Mara, where they dominated all the lionesses in the area. Then, they returned to the swamp as a large and powerful family. Shortly afterward, the lionesses began to go into estrus, and the coalition's first cubs were born. These new offspring were proof of the Bila Shaka's success. More than kings of territories, they were now fathers, perpetuating the lineage of strength and resilience they had inherited from their own progenitors. However, with territorial expansion and an increasing number of lionesses and cubs, new challenges arose. The coalition needed to strategically divide themselves to protect the entire territory. Each of the brothers played an essential role in protecting the lands and the lionesses. Babale, the most courageous and impulsive, often took the lead in battles against invaders. But his impulsiveness worried the other members of the coalition. Unlike the others, who preferred to act together, Babale often ventured out alone to confront rivals, relying solely on his strength and courage. This impulsive behavior eventually had serious consequences. In 2019, while 4 of the Bila Shaka were patrolling distant areas, Babale and Noah were tasked with protecting the lionesses and cubs in one of the prides. During a difficult hunt, Noah decided to help the lionesses face a herd of buffaloes, leaving Babale alone to guard the territory. It was at this moment that a coalition of 3 young lions attempted to invade Bila Shaka lands. Babale, without waiting for Noah's return or the support of his other brothers, decided to face the intruders alone. Despite his courage and strength, the fight was unequal, 3 against 1. Babale managed to drive off the invaders but emerged severely injured from the confrontation. When Noah returned and found his brother, he realized that Babale's wounds were fatal. Babale, sensing that he would not survive, walked away to die alone, as is common among gravely wounded lions. The following day, the other coalition members searched for Babale but could not find him. It is believed that he succumbed to his injuries during the night and that his body was devoured by hyenas. Babale's loss was a moment of mourning for the Bila Shaka. For the first time, the coalition experienced the pain of losing one of its members. However, they knew they had to move forward. Babale's death brought a valuable lesson to the Bila Shaka: the importance of staying united. With 5 remaining members, the coalition continued to expand its domain, protecting its lionesses and offspring with even greater determination. They had lost a brother, but their strength as a group remained intact. By the end of 2019, the Bila Shaka had conquered 2 more prides, further expanding their empire beyond their original territory. With this, they became one of the most powerful and respected coalitions in Masai Mara, solidifying their legacy as kings of the savannah. Despite the Bila Shaka's impressive achievements, life in the savannah allows no rest. Each victory is only the beginning of a new challenge, and for the 5 remaining lions, the period following Babale's loss brought even more conflicts and trials. Maintaining control over newly conquered territories required strength, strategy, and, above all, unity. After Babale's death in 2019, the Bila Shaka faced their first major crisis as a coalition. He had been not only the most impulsive but also one of the group's most courageous members. His absence left a void that needed to be filled. The remaining brothers understood that to protect the empire they had built, they would need to reinforce their cooperation and learn from past mistakes. Soon after Babail's loss, the Bila Shaka were challenged by nomadic coalitions attempting to invade the swamp territory. Each attack posed a risk, as battles against invaders could weaken the lions or leave them injured, making them vulnerable to further confrontations. However, the Bila Shaka demonstrated that their strength as a coalition lay in their ability to act as a unit. They worked together to repel intruders, using the experience they had gained over the years to protect their lands and lionesses. One such conflict marked the beginning of 2020, when a coalition of 4 young lions invaded the region of the Enko-Yonai Pride, one of the Bila Shaka's most recently conquered territories. The dispute occurred near the Mara River, where the intruders tried to intimidate the lionesses and threatened the coalition's newborn cubs. Led by Noah, the Bila Shaka acted quickly. The battle was intense, but the brothers efficiently expelled the rivals, reaffirming their dominance. This victory bolstered the coalition's confidence but also highlighted the dangers of ruling such vast territories. Divided across different areas, the 5 lions had to constantly patrol their domains to prevent new attacks. This exposed them to risks, particularly because rivals were always seeking opportunities to strike. Another significant conflict occurred that same year, when 2 of the Bila Shaka, Chongo and Manera, were involved in a fierce battle against a group of hyenas near a carcass. The hyenas, ever opportunistic, attempted to steal the meal, and the confrontation quickly escalated. Chongo, already suffering from an injured eye, emerged from the fight with severe wounds, leaving him debilitated for weeks. This event underscored how the coalition not only faced rival lions but also other predators competing for the same territory and resources. Meanwhile, Noah, who had decided to permanently establish himself with the Enko-Yonai Pride, began to face unique challenges. Although he still relied on his brother's support to protect his lands, he ruled alone, which made him more vulnerable to attacks. Even so, his leadership proved effective, and he managed to maintain control over the territory, perpetuating the Bila Shaka legacy in that region. Later in 2020, the Bila Shaka suffered another significant loss. Keo, who had been one of the most active in defending the territories, was found injured after a confrontation with a rival coalition. Although he managed to escape the initial attack, his wounds were severe. Local guides reported that he distanced himself from the group and was never seen again. Like Babail, it is believed that Keo succumbed to his injuries and that his body was taken by nocturnal predators, such as hyenas. With only 4 members remaining, the coalition faced a new challenge: maintaining the vast territory they had conquered with a reduced number of lions. The Bila Shaka were already legends in Masai Mara, but the pressure on them increased with each passing day. The territorial conquests that had surpassed their parents now demanded even greater effort to maintain. The year 2021 brought a mix of hope and challenges for the Bila Shaka. Despite the losses, they remained one of the most powerful coalitions in the region. The lionesses under their protection continued to produce cubs, ensuring the continuation of their lineage. However, age began to show its signs in some of the members, especially Chongo, whose injured eye became an increasingly significant problem. The Bila Shaka also faced growing difficulties due to changes in the Masai Mara ecosystem. The rise in tourism and the expansion of human activities near the reserve reduced the territories available to lions, increasing the pressure on all coalitions in the region. Moreover, competition for natural resources made conflicts between lion groups more frequent and intense. By the end of 2021, the Bila Shaka were still seen patrolling their lands, defending their lionesses, and ensuring the survival of their offspring. However, the history of previous coalitions suggested that decline could be inevitable. Over time, younger and more determined rivals would continue to test the limits of the Bila Shaka, while the challenges of maintaining such a vast territory would become increasingly evident. Despite these difficulties, the Bila Shaka's legacy was already solidified. They had surpassed the achievements of their parents, establishing a dynasty that would inspire stories and studies about wildlife for years to come. More than kings of a territory, the Bila Shaka were living examples of strength, unity, and resilience in an environment where only the fittest survive. The story of the Bila Shaka reminds us that even the most powerful kings face losses and challenges, but it is the ability to adapt and remain united that defines true greatness. Their name, etched into the savannas of Masai Mara, will continue to echo as a symbol of leadership and courage. Even after the significant losses of Babel and Kio, the Bila Shaka coalition continued to expand their domain and perpetuate their legacy. They had lost 2 brothers, but the remaining 4 members stayed united and determined to protect their lands and descendants. Each victory reinforced their reputation as one of the most legendary coalitions in Masai Mara, and their achievements continued to amaze those who followed their journey. What made the Bila Shaka so unique was their ability to work as a unit, even in adverse situations. While other coalitions fragmented over time, they maintained a solid bond, which allowed them to defend their territories while simultaneously expanding their borders. This unity was crucial during a period of instability in 2021, when rivalries between coalitions in the Masai Mara region were at their peak. With territories now including the Swamp and the Enkoyonai Pride, the Bila Shaka had to divide themselves to maintain control. Each brother took on specific responsibilities, patrolling different areas and ensuring that invaders were kept at bay. This strategic division allowed the coalition to govern efficiently, but it also meant that each member had to remain constantly vigilant. Noah, who had already established himself as the exclusive leader of the Enkoyonai Pride, continued to show his strength as a solitary king. Although he was not physically close to his brothers, he could still rely on their support whenever a greater threat arose. The Bila Shaka demonstrated that even when separated, they remained connected and ready to protect one another. Meanwhile, the other 3 members of the coalition expanded their domain even further. In an impressive series of confrontations in early 2021, they took control of 2 more prides located in the eastern part of Masai Mara. These new conquests further increased their influence, making them rulers of a total of 5 prides. However, this territorial expansion also brought a new challenge: maintaining order in a territory that was now significantly larger than their parents. The lionesses under the protection of the Bila Shaka continued to give birth, ensuring the coalition's lineage was perpetuated. The cubs, direct descendants of legendary lions, carried the genes of strength, courage, and resilience that defined the coalition. With the increasing number of descendants, the Bila Shaka were not only kings of territories but also fathers of a new generation that could one day build their own empires. Despite their continued success, the coalition showed signs of aging. Chongo, who had suffered from an injured eye since his youth, began to show signs of weakness. His patrols became less frequent, and he relied more on his brothers to handle direct conflicts. However, his experience and strategic intelligence remained invaluable to the group. Manera, the calmest and most reserved of the brothers, took on a more active role, leading patrols and ensuring the safety of their conquered lands. The Bila Shaka's expansion also brought changes in the behavior of the lionesses. Some of the prides they had conquered refused to merge with the already established groups, preferring to remain in isolated territories. This separation forced the Bila Shaka to divide themselves further, with each member dedicating their time to protecting a specific pride. Despite this, the brothers periodically reunited to reaffirm their alliance and plan their next actions. In 2021, the coalition faced one of the greatest challenges in its history. A rival coalition of 4 young and ambitious males attempted to invade the swamp territory. These rivals, having been expelled from their native lands, were determined to establish a new domain. The ensuing battle was intense and lasted several days, with the Bila Shaka using all their experience to repel the invaders. In the end, the rivals were defeated, but the confrontation made it clear that time was beginning to take its toll on the brothers. Despite the signs of aging and the growing challenges, the Bila Shaka continued to rule with determination. Their adaptability and unwavering unity were evident in every decision they made. They knew that to maintain their legacy, they not only needed to protect their territories, but also to ensure that their descendants inherited the same spirit of strength and unity that defined them. The impact of the Bila Shaka on Masai Mara extends beyond their territorial conquests. They became a symbol of resilience and the power of partnership in an environment where only the strongest survive. Their stories, documented by guides and wildlife enthusiasts, inspire not only those who observe them but also researchers studying the behavior of lion coalitions. Although the last update on the Bila Shaka in 2021 indicated that they remained strong, the coalition's future remained uncertain. Like any coalition, they would face the inevitable cycle of life in the savanna, where new rivals would emerge and challenges would only grow. Still, their legacy was already assured. The Bila Shaka had surpassed their parents' achievements and left a permanent mark on Masai Mara's history. Today, as one looks across the vast savanna, it is impossible not to imagine the impact these lions had on their environment. They were not just predators but true architects of a wild empire. Their descendants, scattered across multiple territories, carry the responsibility of continuing this story. The Bila Shaka legacy teaches us that in the wild, success does not depend solely on brute strength but also on intelligence, strategy, and, most importantly, unity. They are living proof that even in an unforgiving environment like Masai Mara, partnership can be the key to survival and prosperity. Whatever the ultimate fate of the Bila Shaka, one thing is certain. They have already immortalized themselves as legends of the savanna. Their name, etched into the lands of Masai Mara, will continue to inspire stories and admiration for generations. The story of the Bila Shaka coalition goes far beyond the battles they fought, the territories they conquered, or the descendants they left behind. Above all, it is a testament to the power of unity and the ability to adapt in an environment as ruthless as the African savanna. More than rulers of vast lands, the Bila Shaka became legends, leaving a legacy that echoes across the plains of Masai Mara and in the hearts of all who follow the wild. The success of the Bila Shaka was not based solely on physical strength but on something far deeper: partnership. From the beginning of their journey, they understood that their survival depended on their ability to work together. This set them apart from many other coalitions, where internal rivalries or individual impulsiveness often lead to ruin. The Bila Shaka demonstrated that true strength is not just about fighting but knowing when to retreat, learning from others, and fully trusting your companions. Their territories, which at their peak included 5 distinct prides, represent not only physical conquests but also the power of a successful alliance. These lions showed that teamwork can overcome even the most difficult challenges, such as the loss of brothers or the constant threat of invaders. Their story proves that survival in nature is not an individual battle but a collective effort. The losses of Babel and Keo were pivotal moments for the coalition but also reinforced the group's resilience. Even in the face of grief, the Bila Shaka pressed forward, protecting their descendants and expanding their lands. These losses remind us that, in the wild, even kings face the natural cycle of life and death. They also highlight the delicate balance between individual strength and partnership, where impulsive decisions can have grave consequences. However, like all stories in nature, the Bila Shakas is part of a larger context. The African savanna, with all its grandeur, faces growing challenges caused by human activity. The expansion of agricultural areas, uncontrolled tourism, and the reduction of natural habitats threaten the survival of coalitions like the Bila Shaka. These lions' struggle is not just against natural rivals but also against changes that jeopardize the ecological balance of Masai Mara. The future of the Bila Shaka remains uncertain. Like other legendary coalitions before them, the time will come when the environment's challenges and the passage of time will take their toll. Younger, power-hungry rivals will continue to emerge, seeking to claim the territories that the Bila Shaka fought so hard to protect. This is the natural order of the savanna, where the fight for survival is constant, and no reign lasts forever. However, the Bila Shaka's legacy is already assured. They not only conquered territories and left descendants but also wrote a story that will be remembered for generations. They are an example of what can be achieved when physical strength is combined with intelligence, strategy, and, above all, unity. Their name, carved into the lands of Masai Mara, will continue to inspire stories, studies, and admiration. The story of the Bila Shaka offers us valuable lessons about life, not just in the savanna but in our own world. It reminds us that true power lies in partnership, in the ability to overcome challenges together, and in the courage to face adversity even when all seems lost. It also teaches us that every victory comes with sacrifices and that true success is the kind that leaves a lasting legacy. For those privileged to witness the grandeur of wildlife, stories like that of the Bila Shaka serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of preserving these ecosystems. They are more than habitats. They are the stage for epic dramas where every life plays an essential role in nature's balance. If you were moved by the journey of the Bila Shaka, share this story and help keep the memory of these legendary lions alive. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and continue exploring the incredible stories that wildlife has to offer. Because just like the Bila Shaka, every animal has a unique story to tell.